take the guys when you're ready.
What do you make of that,
Oh well, we are able to match them inside 50s wise. It's so we're getting the ball there plenty of times, but they're a bit more efficient at ground level, or getting that ball out, and then their work around probably congestion, I'd say, was the feature of their game, and certainly not one of ours. Just being able to find that extra handball, or that stripped us of the ball because we just had that one little fumble, and so their ability to be able to do that and then get on the tear was a whole lot better than us, and as a result they sort of got through that midfield space pretty easily at times, and got over the top of that space and worked our defenders back in towards 50. So just if I had to sort of say one thing, their working close was probably the major feature, and there's some other structural things that they probably did pretty well too.
It looked like the endeavour sort of stayed to the end.
Yeah.
Does that mean if they're trying hard and they're getting spanked like that, they're that far off?
Well, you hope so. I mean, games. You can think you're a mile off it sometimes when you're not, and we got convincingly beaten. There's no doubt about that in terms of scoring wise, but. Yeah, certainly for us, our intent or endeavour, or whatever you want to call it, that was I couldn't really question that, because we look at their uncontested marks weren't high, but just they're just a bit cleaner than us, and going inside 50, they were just more efficient than us, and so there's little items like that we've got to make improvements on, and just they created a fair bit more pressure, which was something that off the back of last week's game they said they wanted to improve, and something we wanted to maintain, but we just we couldn't maintain it, or maintain the footy was probably more the point for us.
What about your attack? How much of a concern is considering how much you took the ball in there and you didn't really look like you were going to score a lot of goals?
No, well, again, it's sort of early in the game. We had plenty of opportunities, and you don't maximise those. I mean, they had kicked their 4-3 or whatever, and we had our shots and we didn't take them. And it's something we're going to have to walk away and make sure that we do plenty of work on. The combinations we've had through the pre-season. I mean, Brownie hasn't played in the pre-season game, so that's one thing. Obviously, Staker's been the more permanent one down there for us. That's worked pretty well, but that's something we'll have to go away and have a fair think about. That's for sure.
What are your options?
Well, I don't think there's necessarily too many other ones. I mean, if sometimes it's about being able to, when you've got the group there, is just to be able to keep rehearsing it and practicing it and get familiar with the relationships that are down there, so we can, work together a little bit better rather than working in as isolation or as individuals. So that's just something that we're going to have to go away and something we'll work on over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks and make sure that we can remedy. But credit where credit's due. I mean, the Bulldogs put a lot of pressure on us in the middle of the ground, so our ability to come through the middle of the ground and find that free target was a bit harder. We certainly had our opportunities, but they mopped it up a lot better and brought it out a lot better.
They had a draft pick, father-son draft pick today, who had a standout game. Is it time to give Jared Pollock a go?
Yeah, there's a couple of young fellas there, but I mean, again, you're swapping probably a first gamer for a first gamer. It's not like it's a that's definitely a possibility. He's a definite goal kicker, and there's no doubt he's been in pretty good form in the pre-season wise. So we've had some things we wanted him to go away and work on, and he's got to still make improvements in those. But so do a lot of our other guys too. So, those opportunities will certainly present themselves for players like Jared. Yeah. So, but what for us is about is still making sure we get games into these players, and this is a chance for us to be able to look at it, educate, find out what we need to be able to do better, and part of the challenge is coming down to Melbourne and making sure that we replicate the same performance when there's no other external motivation other than we've got a small band of supporters that very parochial, but we've got to come down here, and this is where you've got to be able to perform. Because ultimately, casting our minds into the future, this is where we want to be, and this is where we want to play on, at the MCG on Grand Final day. So we've got to survive all that.
Is a bit of a public challenge to Aaron Cornelius at the moment, because a lot of people who don't get an opportunity to watch the twos will just assume if John Brown goes out, he comes in because he's the key forward that we've seen before, but
yep.
It's been overlooked.
He has, and if he does, it'll be on needs only, but I haven't seen his game today, so reserves played, but he hasn't done enough to warrant it. Sometimes it comes down to a needs, and he may be just the lucky one that gets the needs basis selection.
Yeah, yet again. Michael, Simon Black was an outstanding player. How far are guys like Rich and Rockcliffe away from sort of taking the load off him a little bit?
Well, I hope over the next 12 months they can definitely do that, but it's now time to do it. There's no beating around the bush. Now's the time to do it.
And against the Bulldogs side, they get a good lesson against. Guys.
Yeah, experience. Yeah, absolutely. They're finals hardened team. So for these players, they're hovering anywhere between 30 and 50 games of footy. So yeah, I would have thought over the next 12 months, it's up to them to be able to take over from Simon Black. But he's a great player, Simon Black, isn't he? But we need others to be able to join in because we can't rely on that. And we've talked about those players before, about Brown and Power and Black. Now it's time for these guys to be able to do the job for a while.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.